Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused or suddenly questioning your own memory? If that's happened to you, I want to say something clearly and calmly. You're not imagining things, and you're not overreacting. There are certain psychological tactics that can quietly distort how you think, feel, and respond, especially when they're used by people who struggle with empathy, accountability, or emotional regulation. Today, I want to walk you through 6 of the most common manipulation patterns we see in clinical research and in real-world relationships. We'll break each one down in a way that's warm, grounded, and clear. Let's begin. 1. Gaslighting, undermining your sense of reality. Gaslighting is often misunderstood. It's not just lying, it's the deliberate or sometimes habitual distortion of your internal experience. It sounds like,
You're remembering it wrong. That never happened. You're too sensitive.
over time, moments like this create a subtle shift. Instead of trusting your own thoughts, you start relying on their interpretation of events. Gaslighting doesn't always come from a malicious person. Sometimes it comes from someone who can't tolerate being wrong. But the effect is the same. Your confidence erodes, your clarity blurs, and your internal reference point becomes unstable. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward reclaiming your reality. 2. Love bombing to devaluation, the emotional whiplash. This tactic is powerful because it uses contrast to create attachment. In the beginning, everything feels unusually warm, intense attention, affection, effort, and emotional presence. It can feel like a deep, rare connection. Then something shifts. The warmth fades, the enthusiasm drops. The same person who seemed completely invested now feels distant or critical. And you start trying to recapture the version of them that felt safe. That's not an accident, it's a cycle. The problem isn't your effort. The problem is their inconsistency. 3. Intermittent reinforcement, the addiction loop. Intermittent reinforcement is one of the strongest conditioning patterns in psychology. It's the same principle behind gambling addiction. The brain becomes deeply attached to unpredictable reward. So when someone offers affection, attention, or validation randomly, warm one moment, cold the next, your nervous system becomes hyper-focused on getting the good moment back. This creates an emotional bond that feels powerful but isn't healthy. It keeps you invested in a relationship that drains more than it gives. Intermittent reinforcement doesn't bond you to the person, it bonds you to the pattern. 4. Isolation, quietly limiting reality checks. Isolation rarely begins with obvious control. It begins with subtle shifts, small comments about people you trust, disapproval about time spent with friends or family, a sense that sharing your connections creates tension. It sounds like,
I don't think your friends really understand you. Why do you talk to them so much? Your family doesn't appreciate you like I do.
little by little, you stop reaching out. You share less with others. Your social world narrows, not because you chose it, but because the relationship became easier to manage when you were more alone. Isolation removes external anchors, making it harder to recognize unhealthy patterns and easier to internalize blame. You're not meant to handle life without support. Isolation breaks that system. 5. Emotional manipulation and dark triad traits. Some manipulation is reactive, some is about immaturity, but some comes from trait-level behaviors consistently described in clinical research. Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy, the dark triad. These individuals often test your boundaries early, mirror your interests to build fast trust, collect your vulnerabilities as future leverage, reward compliance, punish autonomy, and shift rules to maintain control. They view emotional connection as a tool, not a bond. If you've ever felt like someone could read you too quickly or weaponize what you share, you may have interacted with these traits. Recognizing the pattern protects you long before you're deeply attached. 6. Projection and character attacks. Projection is a defense mechanism where someone assigns their own traits or behaviors to you. If they lie, you become dishonest. If they manipulate, you're suddenly the toxic one. If they betray, you become untrustworthy. This tactic is designed to overwhelm your clarity. It flips the narrative and forces you to defend your character instead of examining their behavior. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you apologized for something you didn't do, you've likely experienced projection. You're not losing yourself, you're reacting to psychological pressure. The psychological toll, a psychiatrist's perspective. These patterns have real neurological and emotional consequences. When you're exposed to them repeatedly, your body adapts. Not because you're weak, but because you're trying to survive emotionally unpredictable environments. You may notice anxiety, depression, self-doubt, hypervigilance, people-pleasing, emotional exhaustion, difficulty trusting your instincts, low self-esteem, and trauma symptoms. Your brain becomes trained to scan for danger, even in moments that should feel safe, grounded, and connected. Please know that you didn't create this. You adapted to it. And adaptation is not weakness, it's survival. These patterns affect the nervous system deeply, and your mind and body respond in ways designed to protect you. Here's what I want you to remember. You are not dramatic. You are not imagining things, and you are not too sensitive. Awareness is the beginning of clarity. Clarity is the beginning of boundaries, and boundaries are the beginning of healing. You deserve relationships where your reality is respected, where your voice matters, and where you don't have to negotiate your worth. If this helped you understand even one pattern more clearly, you're already reclaiming something important, yourself. This is Human Code, where we aim to understand the mind, one insight at a time. If you'd like more videos on psychology, healing, and emotional patterns, you can subscribe for future episodes. Please comment below and share the video, and if you feel comfortable, share your experiences. I would genuinely love to read your stories. And always remember, be kind to yourself. You are important too.